All right, I think we're looking at 287 uses on the Nacet today. Going to put it in a new razor. I just got it in. It's a Wolfman WR2. I jumped on the waiting list last year in September. They notified me maybe February or March that my name had come up, but I didn't yet know what I wanted. Also, had just had a job change, so I said, hey, can you hold off? They were very kind and let me do that, and then later on I was able to complete my request, and I went this time for the brushed look. I really think it's cool. I like it on my Wolfman Gorilla, and my other WR2 that I have is polished. And this is the first time I'm trying this WRH3 handle. It's easy to remember what number it is because it's got 3 bands of the knurling right there. Now, I've seen longer versions of this handle that I thought looked kind of odd, but I think I'm happy with this guy. I have the barber pole, the Aristocrat style handle. I think that's the 2 for my other Wolfman, and so I decided to try this guy out. And practically, this is the balance point right there. So I have that knurling right at a good spot. The length looks good in terms of the ratio of the head and all that stuff. So I think I'm going to like it. This is an 85 gap. We are in the Lather games, and today is exclusive day, meaning any soap that has been created for the WetShaving subreddit, that's who's holding the Lather games, and released for them specifically. And West Egg is one of those, and you can see the notation down there. It was part of a 3-part series with Valley of Ashes by Southern Witchcrafts, and then East Egg by, I think, Barrister and Mann. And I'm really glad I picked this guy up. Aldehydes, kind of a champagne, fruity, grape. You'll have grape notes in here, and a little bit of light woodiness. And it's a great soap. All right. The brush we're going to use today is this Connaught Shaving Faux Jade Omega. It's got, I don't remember the number. It's not an easy to remember number. 011842 or something like that. I've had it soaking for several minutes. Get him back in there. And it's a really good brush. I picked him especially. I looked at my barrel of my tub of brushes. Thought, let's have something special to go with the new Wolfman, the debut shave of him. And I saw that one. That's a special brush. Let me pull that guy out. All right, well, here is the envelope on the Nacet. So there's this 286. So we're going to tack on another dot for today's shave. Just to show you it's the same blade, show you the little 3-dot signature there. When you're ordering, if you want to get on the waiting list, why not do it? Who was I talking to just the other day in the comments? He was on the waiting list for a while, but then he said he just got kind of fed up with it. I don't know if he took himself off, but I mean, you might as well leave yourself on, right? Because at some point, your time will come around. So even if you have to wait a year, I mean, what are you doing otherwise? So there we go. And I got a feeling it's going to be a good shave because my other WR2 is the same gap, and it does a pretty good job. Love this brushed look. Really nice. Okay. Get my face wet. "25 seconds is what I'm going to go with because I did remember to look at my usage data with this soap base. I'm going to do 25 seconds. 5 seconds is right there, so we'll go to 30. 20 seconds gave me 5 passes. Because of the oldness, age of the Nacet, I am often doing 4-pass shaves. And so we will, what did I say? I said 25. Yep, almost there. Good. I'm glad I paused for a second. And there. There we go. The 20 seconds gave me 5 passes of lather with one of my brushes. And so since I wanted to give myself just a little bit more margin, I went ahead and tacked on an extra 5 seconds. So let's just see how close that works out to be. So this Omega doesn't have as much loft, as much length to it as some of the other ones, like that barber handle looking one, the can't remember the number now. 100. Nah, sorry, can't remember. And then of course there's the 20102, which is that half black, half wooden handle, little short handle, but it's got a long loft. There's that one too. And I see already. Look at that big old bunch of lather back there. Hard water I have. My notes, why don't I just go ahead and put 2 teaspoons in? My notes said use 3 teaspoons. So that might be with a 5-second shorter load. So we'll just have to, at least 3 teaspoons is a decent ballpark to kind of know when to perhaps think about stopping or getting close. Looks like Strybk is just fine with dumping a bunch of water in kind of from the beginning, so that's nice. Strybk is one of the sponsored vendors of the games, and so some of the prizes are going to be from Strybk. We're just listening to the number 2 podcast. They just released a number 3, but I'm a little bit behind. And they said that last year there were 30-something people who completed the whole calendar of the games. And this year it looks like it's going to be twice that. And so it looks like there's going to be a lot of competition for few prizes this year. Looks like a lot of people are going to get it done. These poor judges. We've only got a few judges. They're having to read through hundreds of posts a day. I'm finally able to kind of jump back into the games and be involved, because it took me up until yesterday to read and savor, all the posts from my own day number 1. The Sugar Daddy was the side challenge to do your post kind of like me. I read them all. I watched all the videos. There were 71 people who did a write-up in my style, or did something about me. Maybe if they didn't use my formatting of the SOTD, they did something else, like at least they used measuring utensils and that kind of thing. That's a lot of people. And then maybe 6 to 10 people, like Christian and Wally Gator, HD Shaves here on YouTube, Chewbacca, Mammoth, Ben, did some just amazing. Oh, and of course, one of the first ones that did such a great job was Cosmo. They did videos in my style. Now, Christian didn't actually do a shave, but he did some good research. He did his work and got a lot of my little isms Done very well. This lather looks awesome. Look how creamy that is. Gonna keep adding water though. Oh, it feels so slick. Nice, nice. Okay, well this is 5 teaspoons of water now. Yeah, that scent, it's not a strong soap, it's a mild soap. But those aldehydes, it really does have the scent of that kind of roaring 20s, the celebrating with champagne and the parties. Slight woodiness, but mostly it's that kind of champagne aldehydes and, you know, light wine kind of scent. Let's just go ahead and use this. Feels good in my fingers. Oh yeah, let's show it to you right quick. Show you the consistency. Yeah, that's good. He is standing on his own. He slowly moves when I tip him over, but sometimes that means I need to keep adding water. Let's just see what happens this time. Strybk is just a really good soap base. This brush is nice because it has nice wide width to the knot. And so you get a good splay. You got medium backbone, and so the tips are reasonably soft. They're not super soft yet. This is still kind of a young boar. So it's a massage kind of feeling. If you worked it really hard for a bunch of passes, I imagine you could, you know, work to yourself some, you know, some brush burn or something like that. But I think it would take kind of a abnormal amount of work to do that. I can definitely see this brush becoming a favorite later on as it changes with age. Tips split, gets softer. Tilting my head in case you're new to try to keep the water inside the brush once I add some. Bring the water down to the tips instead of having it flow out the base of the handle, base of the knot in near the handle. Yeah, we've got a good, this lather's looking great. It needed water. Now I like to pour it in the middle of the knot. You can also kind of put a few drops on the outside like that and then just kind of work back and forth. I find that a little slow, but you know, experiment with different types because, you know, there's going to be some water adding techniques that cause you to get really messy. Look at all this lather that's getting generated. It definitely needed more water. So that's 6 teaspoons now. I'm gonna stick in a little bit another. So that's 7 teaspoons now into the lather bowl. I'm gonna put some of this lather back in because I definitely have plenty on my face. Could probably take off half of what's on my face. Save it for another pass. All right, man, Strybk is so good. Just rinsing my hand off there from all the suds. All right, so 85 gap Wolfman WR2. This is a gap that is definitely below standard. I believe it's the 95 is the gap that is his mildest that he's offering, but when my turn came up, I messaged them and said, hey, listen, I know this is probably a remote possibility, but do you have could it possibly be possible, maybe, to get a gap that was lower than the standard one? I understand if you can't, but because I didn't want to be trouble. Because they're really trying to, they've got a big old long wait list and they're trying to get things done for folks. And they actually said they had one laying around the shop that was the 85. And I knew I'd like that because I still get some blade feel here and some medium aggression from this 85, much less the 95. And so I really wish he'd make even perhaps an 80 or a 75. All right, but I can see why he's not really doing customs right now, so that he can, really churn out some razors for the people who are in the list. All right, a little partial rinse. Nice. Okay, let's make sure this lather, I dumped in a whole nother teaspoon here. Just give it a good mix. Make sure it's all uniform. So I haven't used this brush too much since I got it, because I want it. It's so cool. I want it to be a part of my borathon, and it's a few uses ahead of everybody. So that's why I'm kind of holding him back a little bit. So this is a good lather. The slickness is great. It's still slick and creamy, and it's flying everywhere. That's a creamy lather. It's hydrated really well. If your lather ain't flying, you ain't trying. Might be a good way to put it if you like really wet lathers. And some of them get this wet and they still hold together pretty well. Some of them get this wet and they're just, you can't hold them back. They just fly everywhere. So the first pass had a little bit of tugging, and this one a little bit of blade feel. It's not super smooth. Cross grain. One nice thing about razor heads that are kind of in the mid-range category in terms of aggression, often you can spend less time shaving. If you're used to 3 passes, maybe you can get away with 2. With this older blade, if I'm usually requiring 4, maybe I can get away with 3. Sometimes it works out that way. All right. Rinse. Let's throw some more lather on. So this will be the third. The lather looks so good. Look at that. Not as wet as some, but I think this is exactly where I like this one. When it's falling off like this, I don't want to go any wetter myself. And I could slow down my brush a little bit, and then maybe stuff wouldn't fly off. I've got kind of some stressful things going on in my life right now, so I am going to keep shaving. It's good to have routines. And I have when I was doing a rinse, I had a drop up in my glasses, and it's getting in the way of me seeing things. So sometimes it's good to have a routine when you're going through some tough times. All right, so this is the third pass, and again, I'm holding it like this, not really even holding the end, because I want it to be flexible, movable. I'm holding it tight enough to make sure that it's the right angle, but only that. That is my secret. And it may be why I'm able to get a lot of uses out of blades. Hey, I made my first meme. It's a shaving related meme because in the surprise challenge of yesterday's Lather games, the surprise challenge was to kind of honor and remember Django, who does a lot of memes, and to make one yourself. So I just Googled meme generator, and it was like image flip or something like that. So if you want to go on Reddit to reddit.com/r/WetShaving and scroll and sort by new so that you see recent stuff, and then look for the Lather games, maybe the 15th day of the 2020 Lather games, and look for my post, and then you'll be able to see. I have a little section in the text, and it may actually be in the description of this video. I think it might be, or yesterday's video, it might be. So you could get it there on YouTube instead of going to the Reddit. But it's a shaving related meme. It's pretty cool. I got a kick out of it. Yeah, I'm just kind of splashing water everywhere. I got another droplet of water on my glasses. I've got hard water, so sometimes I need to get this water off before it calcifies and has a little deposit. All right, I am going to go ahead and do a neck pass. I'm sure my face is fine. And I'm feeling some water drip, so let's get rid of that goatee water. I don't want to have to dilute my lather. Now, sometimes you can plan around that. Run your lather a little thicker so that your rinse water that's stuck in your goatee helps your lather to get wet. Yeah, that's a terrific lather. It feels so good. And the scent is not strong, like I said. I'd gauge the strength at a 3 out of 10. It's just very light. It's not going to overwhelm you, but it's a interesting scent and one that you really don't get a lot. And so I find that a light touch. You can just use your hand if you want to. Get a little bit of lather out of your bowl so that you can do a little touch-up area here. Well, physically, this razor is doing great. The brushed stainless steel does a great job of holding on to your fingers. Nice consistent blade hold here. It's terrific. That looks like a good cut. Nice close cut. Face feels great. No irritation. Nothing like that. Very nice. Look forward to trying some different blades with this razor. I think I did with my other W2, so it may not be too much of a surprise, you know. Really excited as we're heading toward use number 300. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for the final day of the Lather games. If I am able to use this blade every day consistently, then I'll hit 300 on the day before the Lather games ends, and so I'll have one day in the Lather games. I thought it'd be funny if I just kept shaving with the Nacet. I could bring in a straight razor. I could have an artist club that I could shave with. I could do some different things. I could pop in a brand new Nacet and put that in one of my razors. I could do that. So I'll try to figure that out. All right. Well, we did 7 teaspoons of water and that 25-second load. Plenty. I could have done 20 seconds easily because I did kind of 3.5 passes, and boy, I've got 3 passes of lather right here, I'm pretty sure. So plenty of lather. So we will, let's take a look at the lather. Yeah, that's some good stuff. It feels just lightly creamy, very luxurious. Yeah, the slickness there, it's there's a little bit of viscosity to give you the luxury feeling. But then as you contact and you move that around, it's like a silky type of contact slickness. It's really good. Really good. All right. Okay, so I'm going to put up my gear here. Yeah, I did all that rinsing and it's still. Now this is an Omega. Comfy handle, but it's an Omega. And the tips, I'm interested to see how long it takes these tips before they get really soft. There are some Omegas that take years to get soft. Hopefully this one won't take that long. One of the aftershaves that I have that I really enjoy is Sterling City Slicker. I love the soap. I love the aftershave. A big fan. But unfortunately, Sterling's pretty strong. It's one of the few that actually can cause me to kind of be a little bit red, especially in my neck area. So to calm things down, I apply some of this, which is Thayer's Witch Hazel. It's alcohol free. I'm interested in trying to find some alcohol Thayer's unscented. This is unscented as well, because I heard that you get more witch hazel with the version that has alcohol, because the alcohol is actually a byproduct of extracting the witch hazel. And so with the non-alcoholic kind, you don't have quite as much witch hazel in there. So I'm kind of curious. Plus, because of my oily skin, I think that I would enjoy the alcohol kind of taming, holding back my skin oils. So while I put things away and clean up, I'm going to let the witch hazel toner, mostly it's a toner that has aloe type stuff, and the witch hazel is a small component. I'm going to put away gear before I put on the splash. That also gives more time for the toner to soak in and help my skin. Well, as I was mentioning earlier, they didn't really plan on the lather games being so populated this year. They were saying that there were 800 posts on that day one, and that was probably, in terms of a daily post shave, the SOTD type of post in the whole history of the sub. That's just the biggest one. There's so many people participating and talking and commenting about each other's posts. It's just a lot of activity. It's wonderful to see. But the sponsors are still kind of, a certain number. And so I think there's going to be a lot of people who work really hard at delivering good content and trying to be competitive in the lather games that are unfortunately going to get disappointed. And so I kind of learned my lesson from last year. And I have just taken it a little bit more casually. Not done quite as much work. Now, especially right now with my kind of personal life being so crazy, it's really a sacrifice. And so I want to be happy if I end up with absolutely nothing. I want to be happy with just the fun. I'm not last games. I organized even my brushes and razors and aftershaves to try to match up with really close to the day, like the soaps. And so this year I'm focusing on the soaps, of course, because that's the core of the lather games. And if I happen to stumble upon a razor or an aftershave that seems to kind of match, then great. But I'm not pre-planning any of that, except for maybe one or two. like I am saving like an old type or a, some old razor for the one where you shave like your daddy or something like that, where it's the oldest gear you have, I think is one of the days. All right. So, and that makes me feel better. Less stress, less work on my part. And so if I get nothing, if I don't win anything, which with so many people being so competitive, I probably won't. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm just having fun playing around. And I had Sugar Daddy Day. I had Sugar Daddy Appreciation Day on day one, and that was just amazing. And yesterday I finished up watching all those videos and enjoying. I got rickrolled so many times because a lot of people use that as their SOTD video. But I'm going to click on it on my day. I got to check it out and make sure. All right, so I threw on some of that City Slicker. It's like a cologne, but it brings in some kind of Western elements like, woodiness and leather, those types of things. Maybe not one of those specifically, but that's just the feeling I get. So it's a big win for me. I like it a lot. Well, there we go. There we go. So we will see what the daily challenge is. I'm a night shaver, and so a lot of times if the daily challenge involves something I do during the shave, then I kind of miss out on that. It's okay. It's all right. I've been able to participate in plenty of them. All right. We're good. We're good. It was a great shave. Really nice. Yeah, sure. I wish, would have been a little bit smoother. A lower gap would be really neat if I was able to maybe find somebody and trade. Wouldn't that be cool? But it's a beautiful razor. The balance was really nice. The just zipping it around. Let's do a little mini razor tour. I don't have enough time to do a full one. But here's that brushed finish. Trademark WR2 head. It's kind of clunky here on the ends instead of pointy like the WR1. And it has these 4 ends, kind of fang looking things coming down from the top cap. And that makes it really easy to tell it from the WR1. And so this has these wonderful grooving knurled bands here to keep a really good hold during the shave. And it's thick enough to be hefty and enjoyable for big hands like mine, but small enough to be nimble where I can pivot the head really easily. It also has kind of a fat end, and so there are some strokes, especially when I keep it in my right hand and I shave over here, I might hold the razor like this, and so when a thicker part is down here at the bottom of the razor, that just gives excellent grip during the whole thing. So I think it's gorgeous. It'll be so much fun to use and enjoy. And hey, because this is a brushed handle, it's going to match my Guerrillas now. So I could switch this over and use it with the Guerrillas. Very cool. Likewise, I can bring that big old fat Gorilla handle in, use it with this W2R head, WR2 head, and it'll match just fine. I don't really care too much about matching, but as always, the quality of the build here, the precision is just top notch. And this was actually one that was a polished version, but he buffed it and gave me the matte or the brushed stainless version. So there's not a lot of these out there, and so that's why I'm going to show it to you. I'll give you a full razor tour later on, try to get better pictures, that kind of thing, just to put it out there so that people can just see what that finish looks like. More people might enjoy it if they saw it, It's cheaper. I didn't want to pay more money for the polished, especially that high polish. Woo, man, that's pricey. And then it's harder to maintain. It shows scratches a little bit more, All right, we're good. We're good. I sure hope there's been something on this video that's going to help you out. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You have a good night. Take care.